Welcome, Reverend Kudzani Ndebele, to the CWM Global Office here in Singapore. May I ask you briefly introduce yourself and your church, the United Congregational Church in Southern Africa, to our audiences of CWM TV.
Thank you very much, General Secretary, Reverend Dr. Jooseop Keum. My name is Kudzani Ndebele. I'm the General Secretary of the United Congregational Church of Southern Africa, which is one church in 7 Southern African countries, which include Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, South Africa, Malawi, and Angola. I'm doing my 4th year as General Secretary, and I'll be starting my 2nd term in the coming year. So generally, as the UCCSA, we have been immersed with a number of mission issues that we are dealing with. Mainly, we have broken down our tasks into 4. The first one being ministry, the pillar of ministry. We have the pillar of mission, the pillar of means and resources, and the pillar of governance. So those form the strategic plan of the UCCSA at the present moment.
I have a privilege to attend at the UCCSA's General Assembly meeting last year. It was my joy and privilege to be there. Particularly, it was very moving experience. The new synod, the Evangelical Congregational Church in Angola, has joined as a member of the UCCSA. So, how do you see this union with the Evangelical Congregational Church in Angola for the unity and the mission of your church?
Thank you very much. The Evangelical Congregational Church in Angola comes a long way with the UCCSA. Firstly, they share the same roots with our church in the areas of Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, and Mozambique in the eastern part of Zimbabwe. These were the churches founded by the American Board of Missions. So the very same missionaries that founded those churches are the ones that ended up in Angola. At the point of the formation of the UCCSA in 1967, and due to the Liberation War, which secluded communities, it was not easy for them to be part of the conversations that led to the formation of the UCCSA. So since then, the UCCSA and EECA, as they are known in terms of their abbreviation, have always sought to find one another. During the time of the late Professor Reverend Wonganjalo Goba, when he was working for the global ministries, he made an effort to make sure that the meeting takes place. And ever since then, there have been attempts until we asked the Namibia Synod to be the midwives between the UCCSA Assembly and EECA in Angola. Eventually, we got to a point whereby we had to visit each other, exchange visits, we were invited to the executive committee where they expressed their willingness to be part of the UCCSA family, and the assembly accepted that. Since then, we have done a lot. We have been to Angola, myself as General Secretary and the President, the Reverend Rupert Ambira, as President of the UCCSA. We've had several discussions with them. We attended their assembly, which was earlier this year in March. And out of the conversations, we have now agreed to put together a 5-member committee aside, 5 members from EECA and 5 members from UCCSA, who will now knuckle down the issues on the complete union, which should take place next year at the Assembly, 2024. So this 10-member committee is the one to deal with all the issues and make sure that there are no issues that have not been dealt with between EECA and the UCCSA, so that when they are completely admitted at the assembly next year, nothing will be outstanding. If there is anything, it will be highlighted to say this is work in progress. But the excitement is quite high.
Yes, indeed. I'm also excited as the General Secretary of CWM because it is first time for CWM we have the member church in the Central Africa and Francophone-speaking Africa region. There must be the diverse and different mission priorities compared to our member churches in Southern Africa region. So certainly the mission and the life and witness of the Evangelical Congregational Church in Angola will enrich our mission work as a global CWM. So I am looking forward to meet the delegates of the Evangelical Congregational Church, perhaps in our next General Assembly as observers. My next question is all of our member churches, we are getting out of the lockdown period because of the pandemic, and our mission work is reopening in global, regional, and the local levels. Therefore, the UCCSA in general, as a General Secretary, what do you see the most important mission priority and the challenges of your church, particularly in the context of the post-pandemic period?
Thank you very much. It was very unfortunate that the pandemic came about without anyone having prepared for its devastating impact. However, emanating from COVID-19, where we have lost quite a number of ministers, church workers, and members, and we are recovering from that loss. But we have seen it as a mission opportunity, for us to diversify what we call church. Doing church will no longer be the same. We are in an era where e-church becomes very important, whereby some members last attended church service before COVID. Now they can join online. And joining online does not in any manner reduce them from participation, because they become part of the witnessing community. But also, we have agreed to work on a training program, prioritizing the training of ministers, the training of lay people, in terms of Christian education, to rework our Christian education program, and also to empower people's organizations, those which people voluntarily join as women, as men, as youth, and also as the junior church, which is the Sunday school. So we are working on those areas. And the last one is a new approach to resource mobilization to support ministry and mission. We had a mission and ministry conference, which we held, and it was a resounding success. Fortunately, immediately after the lockdown was lifted, we received our MSP 4 resources from the Council for World Mission, and we give thanks to the CWM for that. And that became a befitting launchpad to relaunch ourselves in dealing with mission training and empowerment.
Thank you. Now I would like to shift our focus from the UCCSA to the global CWM work. As you are serving as the chair for the modern day slavery working group within the Onesimus project. So could you kindly introduce about the modern day slavery project and your vision and the importance of this work?
Yes, the modern day slavery as one of the 4 pillars of the Onesimus project, it comes as a gift to the global family of the CWM and the global church and everyone else. We want and we have resolved to address the issues of such as child labor, issues of human trafficking, issues of race relations, issues of economic slavery, all those that emanate in the present day post independence or post freedom. Those forces that deny people human agency are the ones that we wish to address. And the best way we would like to approach them is to make sure that we allow our member churches, through their collaboration within their regions and the ecumenical network, to start to engage on these issues, engage from a biblical perspective, through training. How do we end some of these life-denying forces? And how do we confront the structures that govern us from national, regional, and the international spheres? So it is quite an exciting moment. And the churches cannot wait for that moment for them to speak out and together collectively chart a new way of life.
Recently, we have seen the mass movement of young people from Africa to Europe seeking for better life and jobs. In many cases, they are the internally displaced people because of war and conflict in some Africa countries, and then they are carrying as a cheap labor by the brokers, immigration brokers, and then there are many unfortunate cases while they are crossing the Mediterranean Sea. So can we call this kind of issues also as a part of the work in Africa in terms of modern day slavery project?
Yes, we can classify it as part of the modern day slavery project, because part of them, they take these opportunities from a professional point of view, where one is in a job and then they apply for another job and they move. There are not so many, but most of them are desperate back home. They don't have any form of employment. And when any advert is flighted on the internet, they think it's a real, genuine opportunity. Little do they know that it's a scam, which end up imprisoning them, taking them for cheap labor, some being taken for sex workers, and that is a form of modern day slavery. There are a number of issues in which this needs to be addressed. It has to be addressed from a policy orientation level, in terms of what is it that leads to most of the young people not getting employment in their own native lands. That becomes a policy issue and economic issue. But there's also an awareness campaign, which we as the community, as the church, we should lead and conscientize the young people that not everything that they read about as opportunities is really genuine. They have to find ways in verifying whether it is really legitimate or it is not legitimate.
Thank you, Reverend Ndebele. My last question is about the global CWM. You are serving CWM as a member of board of directors. So for the global CWM, what do you see that what are our calling and priorities in the post-pandemic context, and also we are preparing for the next assembly. So what kind of missiological discernment and vision you have and you expect for the global CWM in the future missional movement?
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to serve on the board of the Council for World Mission, given that we came at a very catastrophic period when the pandemic had just come and elections were done virtually, the first ones to be done virtually at the level of the assembly. But we have forged ahead. We have built a committed leadership through the leadership of the General Secretary and all the board members, the moderator included. We have set ourselves priorities to deal with issues that are pertinent. Issues such as the first one being that of making sure that the Onesimus project seeks to answer to the wholeness of humanity. Mm-hmm. It seeks to speak to the past, the present, empowerment, and the transformative ecumenism. So, in all these spheres, it sets a new agenda for church, that the way in which we as member churches relate, we should relate conscious of the fact that we are surrounded by forces that we need to address. And it's an exciting moment, as it will be eye-opening to most of us in the church, because somehow when you benefit from something, you deny its existence. And as the program unfolds, I think it's a real opportunity for us to be awoken. Coming to the assembly, and coincidentally coming from Africa, and being from one of the member churches that will be hosting the UCCSA and the UPCSA, it's an exciting moment. The assembly of CWM is always a moment of worship and celebration, but also a moment of sharing our diversity and learning from one another, and also networking from that level. So we can't wait. Our pledge is to make sure that the assembly will be global, but have an African flair.
Yes.
Where there will be joy and celebration.
Dancing and beauty.
Dancing and beauty, singing and celebration. We really are excited that the assembly is coming to South Africa. And we are very glad and thankful for that.
Thank you, Reverend, for your visit to the CWM office in London and for your kind interview with the CWM TV. We are looking forward to seeing you for the General Assembly in next year. Whole the world and our member churches in the whole world is looking forward to visit Durban, South Africa next year. Thank you very much for your hosting the assembly together with the UPCSA. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you very much. Yes.